Okay, I'm about to play something here that all y'all should watch.
I'm driving along. I've just rolled down my window, and you say to me,
"Excuse me, sir, do you know why I pulled you over?"
No, officer, I do not.
"Well, you were going 85 back here, and this is a 60-mile-an-hour zone. Do you have some particular emergency reason that you're going so fast on this stretch of highway?"
Oh, jeez, I already feel like I'm going to make a mistake here. No, I guess not.
"So, do you realize what a public safety hazard is for you to travel down this road in that manner and endanger the public?"
Well, I mean, I understand that, but it does seem like the flow of traffic was at about that speed.
The speed limit, however, is 60 regardless of the flow of traffic. You understand that, right? You saw the sign.
Yes, I do. I didn't see the sign, but I'm sure you're telling me the truth.
Now, when you said, "Yes, I do," right there, you just confessed to knowing you had done it wrong.
Ah, okay. All right, smart. All right.
So the more that you talk to me, the more I'm fishing out of you. You see how this is working? So let's continue this for just a second.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir, I need your license, registration, and proof of financial responsibility, please.
Okay, so then I hand over these things. Was that a mistake?
That's an absolute mistake.
But how can it be? If I give him these things, I can drive away in 5 minutes. If I don't, I got an ordeal in my hands.
That may be the case, but you are waiving very important rights when you do that. That is exactly what they're counting on. They have made this system convenient to allow your rights to be violated in a way that you would much rather have that happen than stand up for them. That is exactly what this system is designed to do. So what they've done is they've made you make a choice. Would you rather leave in 5 minutes instead of sitting here? Or would you rather waive your rights and let me violate them so I can take money out of your pocket later?
All right, so tell me exactly, and then we'll go back to the scenario. Exactly how have my rights been violated in this encounter so far?
Okay, the right to remain silent does not just limit you to not having to answer questions. It also is a right to not produce anything that can be used against you in a court of law. And everything you just produced can do exactly that. Let's say, for instance, you produced your license and yesterday was your birthday and you haven't been down to the deep. Everything you just produced can do exactly that. Let's say, for instance, you produced your license and yesterday was your birthday and you haven't been down to the DPS office lately to get your license renewed before it expired on your birthday. You just handed him an expired license. Now he can charge you in addition to the speeding for an expired license. Let's say that the insurance paperwork that you hand him happens to have a different car on it, or you haven't downloaded your new card yet and this one expired 2 weeks ago. He can charge you with failure to maintain financial responsibility on top of that. He can then take these documents, use the little devices to scan them in and have that into that. He can then take these documents, use the little devices in his car to scan them in and have that evidence on hand in court to be used against you. He can write in his little police report that he handed me an expired license. He handed me expired insurance. He didn't have a proper one that showed it was current. Everyone thinks that they'll go back and run this stuff and come back and say, okay, you're good, you have those. They can. That doesn't mean they will. They can make the charge and still force you to defend it in court. And here's what happens when you do that. You go to court, and instead of getting charged, you produce that you had current insurance or current license at the time, but they still say, okay, pay us $20 administrative surcharge fee for having to deal with this case for each of those cases, and we'll drop the charges. They're getting money out of you one way or the other.
So let's go back to our scenario then. You've just asked me for these 3 documents. So let me change my answer. Instead of here you go, let's change my answer and see what happens. Is my answer silence, or is my answer I choose not to produce those documents? Or is it a third answer?
It's a third answer. The answer is one that clearly shows for the record why you are about to not provide what you're about to respond with here. Officer, can any of the information that you are demanding from me be used against me in a court of law or to potentially incriminate me in any way? That's a question relating to your Fifth Amendment protections. The officer's obligated to tell you whether or not he can use that information. The fact is he can, and you should know that up front. He can use it. But he didn't tell you what your rights were. The reason you want to do this before he gets his hands on this is now you can show that this was not a voluntary surrender, and that statement can later be suppressed at trial where he can't use that information against you because it was illegally obtained. So when you ask him that question and he either refuses to answer or gets belligerent or whatever, then you have a follow-up response. Officer, I believe the information can be used against me, therefore I invoke my right to remain silent. Do you intend to retaliate or punish me for simply invoking my protected right to remain silent? Now you put him on the hook. Anything he does to do anything like that with you is going to show that he clearly understands what you just did, but you're going to do what he wants regardless of what your rights are.
Now, meanwhile, while all this is going on, should I be using one of these apps in my phone to record the conversation? Should I get that ready as the officer's coming to the car? I mean, I guess that's a dumb question, right? What could it hurt me to be recording this?
Oh, it doesn't hurt you, and you should record every encounter with a public servant. I don't care who it is. My main rule to everybody that comes to my class or listens to my show is, in today's America, don't walk out of the front door of your house any day of the week without something that records audio and video, preferably more than one something. My first rule is as soon as you even suspect you're about to get pulled over, start recording.